There was a forest at the edge of Elden Hollow that no villager dared to name aloud, shrouded in silver mist and forever rustling, even on windless days. It was known only as the forest that remembers. No map bore its outline, and no path led in or out at least, not one that returned. Legends whispered that those who entered were never truly lost. Their bodies might vanish, but their memories stayed behind, sewn into the bark of trees, caught in the sighing leaves, and echoed in the shadows. Despite the warnings, 17-year-old Elara stepped across the moss-covered boundary at dawn, guided by a voice only she could hear. Find me. Her brother, Kale, had disappeared in the forest 1 year ago to the day. The villagers mourned him as one of the many the forest had claimed, but Elara had never accepted it. He was too stubborn, too full of mischief and dreams. He wouldn't just disappear, not without a trace. The moment her boot met the forest floor, the mist coiled around her ankles like a cat greeting an old friend. The air grew thick with the scent of memory-burnt bread, sea salt, lilacs in spring. None of them were hers. The forest watched. That was the first sensation, the feeling of countless unseen eyes. Trees arched over her, their branches whispering names she didn't know. She pressed on, clutching her brother's old compass, its needle spinning uselessly. Elara. The voice was close now, familiar and hollow. It came from everywhere and nowhere at once. She came upon a clearing bathed in pale blue light. At its center stood an obsidian tree, leafless and tall, its bark pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. Faces shaft formed, and fleeting moved beneath the surface, appearing in a blink before vanishing. She stepped closer. Kael? She called. The tree answered with a sigh that wasn't wind. Shadows coiled from the base, shaping themselves into silhouettes of people, dozens of them, their features blurred like half-forgotten dreams. They whispered in unison, "Remember us." Elara trembled. One figure stepped forward. His shape was clearer than the other's broad shoulders, unruly curls, a crooked grin. Kael. Elara, he said, his voice soft and tired. You shouldn't have come. I had to, she said, tears burning her eyes. I couldn't let you be forgotten. He smiled, sorrow dancing in his eyes. This forest, it remembers everything. Every joy, every sorrow, every regret. We came here thinking it was just myth, but it keeps us trapped in memory. Then I'll take you home, Elara said, reaching out, but her hand passed through his. You can't, he whispered. We're not alive, we're echoes, imprints of who we were. Elara fell to her knees. Then what am I supposed to do? You can leave, tell our stories, remember us truly. That's the only way we stay free. If we're forgotten, we become the forest. Behind him, the shadows writhed, stretching into vines and roots that tangled into faces and hand soles who had already faded too far. Elara stood slowly, clutching the compass. How do I get out? She asked. Follow what you know. Not your eyes, not your fear, your memory. He placed a ghostly finger to her forehead. A sudden rush of warmth filled her memories of Kael laughing, of his dumb jokes, of stargazing in the fields behind their home. The compass, now glowing softly, fixed itself north. I love you, she whispered. He grinned. Then go, before the forest forgets you too. She turned and ran, the shadows hissing in protest. The forest twisted and shifted, trying to confuse her. But she held the memory close, her brother's laugh echoing in her ears. The mist parted. She stumbled out into sunlight, gasping. Behind her, the forest stood still, as if watching her go. In her hand, the compass turned to ash. But she remembered, and from that day on, she told the stories of those who had vanished, Kael, and the others. Their voices lived on in her words. The forest that remembers never claimed another soul again, or so they say. Subscribe to TaleBot Fables for more magical stories, where every whisper hides a wonder.